Hi, I'm Angela Schneider with Long Thread Media. I'm a weaver, spinner, knitter, teacher, and braider. I'm going to be showing you how to get started with a simple 8-strand Kumihimo braid. Braiding disc is a nice portable tool for doing Kumihimo braids. They come in a variety of sizes and even shapes. These are all purchased, and this one is homemade, just out of some craft foam. The round braiding discs are very common for doing round, flat, square, and other shape braids. You'll see the square ones tend to be for flat braids. I've got here some 4/4 cotton, which is just a nice, strong, smooth cotton yarn. I've got 8 1-yard pieces, 4 in a dark color and 4 in a light color for this particular sampler. I've got them tied in a knot that goes down through the center of my braiding disc. You'll see that this one has numbers around the side. Most of them do. Some of your patterns you'll find have numbers indicating what slots the yarns go in. A lot of other patterns will be more like these, where you just have shapes around the sides of the circle. The circle represents the disc. The small circle represents a bobbin if you were using a braiding stand, or a slot if you're using a braiding disc. We're going to be making this spiral braid that is a round shape, and I'm using 2 colors, so I'll get that nice black and white spiral going around the shape. In my setup, the A's and B's refer to my 2 colors. I'm going to use A as my light color, so I'll take 2 threads and put them in the 2 slots at the top of my disc. We'll call that the north position. I'll take 2 of my dark threads and put those where they say B. We'll put those on the right side of my disc, which is the east position. And they just slip into that groove on the side of the disc. I'll take my other 2 light colored threads. Those are my other 2 A's. They go in the bottom of the disc on my south position. And my last 2 dark threads go on the left side in this B position on the west side of the disc. And then I'm just going to brush out my yarn tails. I'm only using 1 yard for this starter because that's easy to work with, those tails. And the braid is going to form in the center of the disc. So I happen to be right-handed, so I'm going to hold this knot with my left hand under the disc, and I'm going to work the yarns with my right hand. Do what is most comfortable to you. Now, to read this particular pattern, it's 2 steps. Step 1, notice I've got arrows going across the center of the disc. I'm going to take the right thread from the top set and bring it down across the disc and put it to the right of the bottom set. That's this arrow. This arrow, I'm going to take the thread from the left side of the bottom set and bring it up across the disc to the left side of the top set. I've just completed step 1 by moving 2 of my threads. Next, on step 2, I'm going to go left and right across the disc. The top thread from the left goes in the position above the threads on the right. The lower thread from the right is going to cross the disc and go in the bottom thread, bottom slot on the left. And so now I've just completed step 2. With this particular pattern, those are the only 2 steps. And now I could reposition back to being the top, east, and west, and north and south positions, but it's a little easier if I just rotate the disc a little bit. This pattern is nice in that I can just rotate to keep going. So I'm going to take the right one from the top or north position, bring it down beside the bottom or south position, take the thread from the other side of the bottom or south position up to the top of the north position. That's step 1, and now step 2, I'm going to take the top thread from the left or west, bring it across to the right or east. I'm going to take the bottom thread from the right and bring it to the left or the west. You can think of it as left and right or east and west, whatever is easiest for you to remember. Let's go back to step 1. Take the right thread south, take the left thread north. Step 2, take the top thread west to east, take the bottom thread goes east to west. Now if you notice in the middle, you can see that the dark colored threads are on top. That tells me that I just did my dark color east to west movements last. So if I put the disc down and pick it up again later, I can tell where I am. Although I recommend, if you're working a Kumihimo pattern and you need to pause, get all the way to the end of your sequence, however many steps it is, in this case just 2, before you put the disc down. So let's just do a few more rounds. Rotate the disc a little bit, keep going. And as you go, you'll end up with another little braids forming in the tangled yarns underneath your disc. So it's a good idea to brush them out every repeat or 2. Well, as the braid grows, I'm just going to move my left hand up a little bit on the braid. As you work, you don't need to pull the threads very tight. Just comfortably snug, but be consistent in how tight you pull them. Now, if we look underneath the disc, you'll see my spiral braid has started to form. And here's a sample of it completed. You can see how the spiral is ultimately going to get much longer. Varying the movements that you do and the starting positions of the colors create an endless variety of patterns. Here are just a few examples of other braids that you can get by using different sequences of movements and different starting positions of the colors. Here's a little design tip with this particular spiral braid. You notice that there are a north-south set that works together, and there's an east-west set that works together. And I've braided it with just 2 threads in each group. But if you change the number of threads, for example, using 2 threads in the north-south group, but using 6 or 8 or even 10 threads in the east-west group, but still always using just the top and bottom thread that as you move, you can change the spiral to get something like this or something like this, where the 2 colors have different emphasis. So this one is 2 threads in the white and 6 or 8 threads in the blue, whereas this one is 2 threads in the turquoise and 6 or 8 threads in the royal blue, and it gives you a much more emphasized spiral. And one more tip for you is I'm just using 1-yard pieces in this particular sample, but sometimes I want a lot more length in my yarns that I'm using. In that case, you can get something like this, a little bobbin for knitting or often used for braiding, and that will let you hold a long strand and work with it, and these will just dangle down beside your disc. So this is just the beginnings of a Kumihimo sampler, so get yourself a disc and give it a try.